So Luminoc was kind enough to send us some knocks. I'm gonna try a trick shot with it. So we have this swinging ring at 60 yards. We're gonna try to get it to the Luminoc. I know this is a little bit different. I'm used to shooting out in the middle of a field, but today it's nice. We're in a shady spot in the middle of summer, so kind of beats the heat a little bit. So we're gonna give it a go. Might take a few tries trying to get this timing down. So I was definitely behind it. So we got to shoot earlier. Good up and down, right where I wanted to hit. So I was way late on that one. Didn't realize how much this swings at 60 yards. That ring is pretty slow. But at 60 yards, that thing's humming. So it's moving quite a few feet before the arrow gets there. So let's give it a go and see what we can do. So a little bit early there, having issues with the ring. So I kind of learned you can't get away with stuff you can do at 20 and 30 yards than you can do at 60, which I guess is obvious, but I'm talking about, usually I focus almost 100% on the target when I'm shooting. And now I think I really have to concentrate more on aiming. All the bows that I shoot is from Bear Archery, and all the accessories is from Trophy Ridge. And if you go to their website, use the code JJ2024, you get a discount at checkout. And making a good shot. So we're gonna try that and give it a go, try to get this timing down. That's how you do it. Pendulums, probably one of the first trick shots people ever do if you call it a trick shot. This would be almost impossible to do it, not because of the difficulty, it's because trying to get that ring swinging and then run all the way back here and do it. You could either do it two ways. You could have a buddy down there, down range, which is not the safest thing, but I rigged up a little solenoid up to this foot pedal, and all I have to do is press the foot pedal and it starts going. Fortunately, got a little bit of spin here and there, but you know, that's how it goes. But it's a good, easy way. You don't have to be out of breath. I mean, you're walking, I'm walking each shot. So unfortunately, for them 3 shots, I walked, let's see, 360 yards. Had a 60-yard shot. It's kind of funny. That's how I kind of rigged this up. Well, I got good news and bad news. Good news, I got the shot exactly how I wanted it. Bad news is I missed it on the slow motion camera. So we're gonna try to do it again. Here we go. That's how you do it. Well, that worked out just nice. So pendulums are a lot of people's first trick shot. It's a very simple trick shot at times, but you can make it difficult like we did at 60 yards. So a pendulum is, you know, basically swinging back and forth. There's a few ways to do this. This time I use a ring. I like to use fishing line. Sometimes if you use thicker ropes, they don't swing as good. And the heavier the object you have, the better it'll swing, and for the longer duration you can swing. So if you're walking back 20 yards to shoot this thing, it's better to use a heavy object. I do have a plastic ring just for visual purposes, so you can see at 60 yards, but I do have a metal ring around it to make it heavier. But you could use, you know, water bottles, whatever. You want to set it further away from the target so it won't like accidentally hit it and just mess up the swing, but close enough where you could shoot an arrow in it and it sticks out far enough where it could pin the ring and stop it, or pin whatever you're shooting. So basically with the pendulum, it's going to swing back and forth. And you know, you see the physics classes where they can put their nose up there and they drop it and it doesn't come back and hit it, you know. So once you understand the pendulum, you understand that it's not going to come back to the same spot. So it's going to swing slower each time it swings. Depending on the weight, it depends on how close from the original spot it's going to be. The lighter it is, it's going to like, you might drop it from here and it might stop over here. So makes it a little bit harder. But the faster it is, the harder it is to hit, the slower it is, the easier it is to hit. And what I like to do most of the time is I like to follow it. I'll follow it and shoot. But for the majority of the people, they're gonna pick a spot. The easiest spot to hit a pendulum is as it peaks. Now, once it peaks, depending on the speed, you can either shoot right in front of it or, you know, just a few inches in front of it and you'll stop it right there. At the bottom of the pendulum is gonna be the fastest time it's gonna swing, at the bottom of it. So you're gonna have to lead it more. And when I mean lead is you're gonna be shooting where it's going to be once the arrow hits the target versus where it's at that moment. I like to, whenever I do a trick shot, I like to either time it where it stops, and right when it stops, you shoot at a certain spot, so when it gets there, it, you know, pins the ring, or on the decline. So it swings down and say it hits, so say it hits this area. Right when it hits this area, I'm gonna shoot over here in order to pin it. That's another way to do it. But the tough part about this last shot is, you know, once you time it right, it was before it actually peaked. So I would have to shoot it on the incline, not much before it, but before it peaked, I'd have to shoot in order to hit this ring. I would have really liked to extend this pole out higher and have a longer swing stroke there in order to hit it. But unfortunately, this is the cards he's dealt with, and I didn't really feel like going back and modifying this shot. Another thing, work with your trick shot. I was fairly confident I could make 3-inch groups at 60 yards with this wind and everything. So that's why I choose this ring. If you're not confident in doing that, make the target bigger. You can use a foot ring. You know, you could use a ring you could use a bike tire if you wanted to. It's supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be like almost impossible for you. So just work with yourself, know how you shoot, and work with that, you know. And you should have a lot of fun doing it that way. So yeah, that's how you do the pendulum.